Mr. Jackson business.
You do think so?
Yes, I know so.
Why do you say that?
He threatened me on Monday.
He did.
He threatened me. Look, watch what I'll do. I'll have someone come kill you. He threatened me. He threatened me on Monday, and this is what he did.
Turn that out, man. She's talking crazy, man.
The actress and model Kim Porter, who, as you said, shares 3 children with the music icon P. Diddy, was found here, passed away this afternoon. Now,
as a campaign in 2021. And then like 3 months later, Dolph was taken the same type of way, like just violently, prematurely.
From XXXTentacion beating his pregnant girlfriend so badly she needed reconstructive eye surgery, to the mysterious death of Diddy's ex that still has people asking questions. Here are the worst things that happened to famous rappers' baby mamas.
Oh, shit,
Geneva Ayala.
this.
In the fall of 2016, inside a small room in North Miami, a young woman named Geneva Ayala is trapped. Her phone has been taken, the door is locked, she hasn't been allowed to leave in 2 days. The man holding her there is her boyfriend, 20-year-old rapper XXXTentacion, and by the time she finally escapes, she will need surgery to save her eyesight. Geneva met Jahseh Onfroy at one of his concerts earlier that year. The relationship moved fast. By May 2016, she had moved in with him. That's when the violence started.
I got to Jahseh. I get to talk about him whenever the I want to. Did y'all know him?
No, wait, she using a
not.
filter and shit. We see
Y'all
that
knew
shit.
what the he portrayed online.
According to a 142-page prosecution document later obtained by Pitchfork, Onfroy subjected her to routine physical and psychological abuse. She was hit, choked, nearly drowned, threatened with a barbecue fork, beaten with wire hangers, and stomped on.
Damn.
She later
did her
told the
bad.
Miami New Times his favorite thing was just to backhand her mouth. Then Geneva told him she was pregnant. On October 6, 2016, Onfroy beat her so severely that she suffered 2 fractures to her left eye socket, along with fractures to her nose and jaw. The broken bones were pressing into the back of her eyeball, damaging the optical nerve. She was losing vision in her left eye. After the beating, he confiscated her phone and locked her in his manager's back room for 2 days before she managed to get out. Geneva went to the police. In January 2017, she gave a testimony at a public defender's office in Miami. Onfroy was charged with aggravated battery of a pregnant woman, domestic battery by strangulation, false imprisonment, and witness tampering.
Tion had some of his own legal troubles as well. He was waiting trial on a domestic abuse charges. His ex-girlfriend says that he beat her and that he threatened to kill her.
Prosecutors later added 15 additional counts of witness tampering and harassment. But then something else happened. XXXTentacion's music blew up. Look at Me
That nigga
went
got
viral.
rich.
He amassed millions of fans, and those fans found Geneva Ayala. They discovered she was working at a Dunkin' Donuts and began showing up every day,
Dunkin'
harassing her,
Donut,
photographing her, and trying to follow her home. She couldn't hold down a job without being hunted by people who believed she was lying. From a jail phone call, Onfroy denied everything. He claimed Geneva had cheated on him and was trying to blackmail him and his mother for $3,000. On June 18, 2016, XXXTentacion was shot and killed during a
Y'all
robbery
think she had
in
something to do
Deerfield.
with that shit, bro? I ain't gonna lie. She probably had something to do with that shit. Cause what a coincidence that shit come out, right? And then all of a sudden, you feel me, bro, get famous with Look at Me, and then that nigga die a year later. That's crazy. Y'all gotta think about that, bro. It's either her or the music industry.
Beach, Florida. He was 20 years old.
And tonight, disturbing surveillance video showing the murder of South Florida rapper XXXTentacion and the moments leading up to it.
The 20-year-old was killed back in June, and 4 men have since been indicted.
With his death, all pending criminal charges were dismissed. Geneva Ayala never got her day in court. In the days after his murder, she set up a GoFundMe page to cover the cost of the reconstructive eye surgery she still needed. Within 24 hours, she had raised over $32,000. Even his own family eventually acknowledged her pain. In a 2022 Hulu documentary about Onfroy's life, members of his family said on camera that they believed Geneva's account. She got the surgery, but the case that could have held her abuser accountable died the same way he did. Shaniqua Tompkins. At 4:59 a.m. on May 30th, 2008, a fire erupted inside a 6-bedroom, 5-bathroom home in Dix Hills, Long Island. 6 people were asleep inside, including Shaniqua Tompkins, 50 Cent's ex-girlfriend, and the mother of his son Marquise. Their 10-year-old boy was in the house.
Multi-million-dollar house burning down, right? Yeah. His 10-year-old son, along with his ex, Shaniqua Tompkins, was in in the house.
The blaze moved fast. An off-duty police officer passing the property spotted the flames and helped rescue all 6 people off an elevated back deck before firefighters arrived. Everyone was rushed to the hospital and treated for smoke inhalation. They survived, but the $2.4 million house was destroyed. Dix Hills Fire Chief Larry Feld immediately flagged the fire as suspicious. The intensity of the blaze didn't match a typical house fire. The Suffolk County Arson Squad was called in. Dogs swept the rubble searching for traces of accelerant. The investigation stretched 6 hours. The house had been the center of a bitter legal war. 50 Cent had purchased the property for $2.4 million in January 2007, but Tompkins filed suit claiming he had promised her the house more than a decade later. Instead, he was trying to evict her and their son, demanding she pay him $4,500 a month in rent. Attorneys on both sides described the dispute as extremely contentious. In the days before the fire, the battle had escalated. Shaniqua went on camera and pointed the finger directly at 50 Cent. He's upset, she told reporters. If he can't have it, no one can. He threatened me. She accused him of being behind the arson.
You do think so?
Yes, I know so.
Why do you say that?
He threatened me on Monday.
He did?
He threatened me. Look, watch what I'll do. I'll have someone come kill you. He threatened me. He threatened me on Monday, and this is what he did.
How?
50 Cent denied the allegations. Investigators ultimately did not charge him with any wrongdoing, but the outcome didn't change what Shaniqua had lost. The home was gone, her son had nearly died in his sleep, and the legal fight with one of the richest rappers in the world was just getting started. Years later, 50 Cent continued to publicly mock Tompkins on social media over the fire and the foreclosure that followed. The house that was supposed to be a home for her and their son became the symbol of a war she never had the resources to win. India Royale. At approximately 5 a.m. on July 11, 2021, multiple armed individuals forced their way into a gated home in the Chateau Elon community in Braselton, Georgia, about an hour northwest of Atlanta. Inside the house were Lil Durk, his fiancée India Royale, and their toddler daughter. The intruders didn't come to rob the place. Law enforcement would later describe it as a targeted home invasion. Durk and India both grabbed firearms and exchanged gunfire with the intruders. The shootout erupted in a home where their baby was sleeping. The suspects fled before police arrived.
That's her right there? No way.
Neither Durk nor India was hit, and the child was physically unharmed. The home invasion was not random, it was targeted. Law enforcement described it that way publicly, and it didn't happen in isolation. Just 1 month earlier, on June 6, 2021, Durk's older brother, OTF D-Thang, had been shot and killed outside a strip club in Harvey, Illinois, a suburb south of Chicago. The family was already deep in grief when armed men kicked their front door in the middle of the night. No arrests were ever made. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation requested public tips, but the case went cold. India Royale, whose real name is India Cox Banks, was 26 years old at the time. Her decision to pick up a gun and fire back alongside Durk became a viral moment, but the reality behind it was darker than any headline captured. His close friend King Von had been shot and killed outside an Atlanta nightclub on November 6, 2020, just 8 months before the invasion.
Man, we already know about this, cuz. They done blicked that nigga. Look at little niggas falling and shit. They got little Tim blicking niggas like, goddamn.
India didn't choose any of this. She fell in love with a man from Chicago's South Side, and the violence that followed him found her too. To this day, no one has been charged in connection with a home invasion. Toya Johnson. On July 31, 2016, in the 2800 block of Podger Street in New Orleans 7th Ward, 2 brothers were shot and killed. Ryan Rudy Johnson, 24, and Joshua Johnson, 31. They were the brothers of Toya Johnson, the ex-wife of Lil Wayne and the mother of his daughter, Reginae Carter.
On Monday, the 2 were identified by the Orleans Parish Coroner's Office as 24-year-old Ryan Rudy Johnson and 31-year-old Joshua Johnson, the brothers of...
The circumstances were as senseless as they were specific. According to prosecutors, a man named Antoine Tweezy Edwards got upset because the 2 brothers went to the front door of a house instead of the back. An argument broke out. Edwards pulled a gun and shot them both. Toya was not in New Orleans when it happened. She was filming her reality show in Atlanta when she got the call. In a later interview, she described the moment plainly. I just knew. She said she felt it before the words came. Both brothers died at the scene. They were buried in New Orleans. Edwards was later convicted on 2 counts of second-degree murder and sentenced to mandatory life in prison. During the trial, prosecutors cited a phone call Edwards made from jail in which he told his girlfriend, "I popped them."
That nigga,
his defense,
what? That nigga snitched on. Well, nah, no way. He called and was like, "I pop." Niggas just love talking on the internet nowadays. It's crazy.
Team challenged the credibility of the witnesses, but the jury didn't buy it. What made it worse was how public it all became. Toya Johnson had been in the spotlight since she was a teenager, married to one of the biggest rappers alive. Every piece of her grief was documented, discussed, and dissected online. She later channeled the loss into advocacy, speaking publicly about gun violence in New Orleans and pushing for community programs in the neighborhoods where her brothers grew up. But no amount of advocacy changes the math. 2 brothers, 1 argument, both gone. Kim Porter. On November 15, 2018, Kim Porter was found unresponsive in her bed at her home in Toluca Lake, Los Angeles. She was 47 years old. She was pronounced dead at 11:40 p.m.
Arcola now apparently earlier
That's a
this
big ass
evening.
house.
The
Me a
actress
crib
and the
like
model
that with
Kim Porter,
barbed
who, as you
wires.
said, shares 3 children with the music icon P. Diddy, was found here, passed away this afternoon. Now,
Porter was the mother of 3 of Sean Diddy Combs' children, their son Christian, born in 1998, and twin daughters Delilah and Jessie, born in December 2006. She also had a son, Quincy Brown, with singer Al B. Sure.
Hey.
Their relationship with Combs spanned more than a decade, surviving public breakups and his high-profile relationships with other women. By the time she died, she and Combs had been co-parenting 3 children and remained close. The Los Angeles County coroner initially deferred the cause of death. On January 25, 2019, they confirmed she had died of lobar pneumonia, a severe form of the disease that attacks an entire lobe of the lungs. Toxicology came back clean. No drugs, no alcohol. The manner of death was classified as natural.
That's crazy.
The timeline was ordinary. She had complained of a sore throat on November 7th. By November 12th, her fever had climbed to 102 degrees.
Damn.
She tested negative for influenza and strep. Doctors prescribed antibiotics and a Z-Pack. Medical examiners later found water bottles, Pedialyte, sports drinks, tomato soup, and Tylenol on her nightstand. She was trying to ride it out at home. For 6 years, that was the story. Natural causes, case closed. Then, on September 16, 2024, Sean Combs was arrested on federal charges including racketeering conspiracy, trafficking, and transportation for purposes of prostitution. And the questions about Kim Porter's death came roaring back. A book titled Kim's Lost Words appeared on Amazon, claiming to be her unpublished memoir with allegations against Combs. Her 4 children issued a joint statement shutting it down. Claims that our mom wrote a book are simply untrue. She did not. The book was later confirmed to be fabricated. But others kept pushing. Al B. Sure, Porter's ex and Quincy Brown's father, publicly called her death a tragic murder and said he was willing to testify against Combs in federal court. He demanded a reinvestigation. The coroner's ruling has not changed. The official cause remains lobar pneumonia. But for millions of people watching the Diddy case unfold, the timing of Kim Porter's death, so close to a man now facing decades in prison for alleged crimes stretching back years, raised a question that no autopsy report has been able to put to rest. Mia J. On November 17, 2021, young Dolph walked into Makita's homemade butter cookies on Airways Boulevard in South Memphis to buy cookies. 2 men exited a stolen white Mercedes-Benz and opened fire into the bakery. Investigators recovered .40 caliber handgun casings and 7.62 caliber rifle rounds from the scene. The rapper, whose real name was Adolph Robert Thornton Jr., was 36 years old. His partner Mia J was not at the scene. She learned what happened the way most of Memphis did, through social media and breaking news alerts. She posted her grief on Instagram stories, then she began fighting. Mia J and Dolph had 2 children together, a son named Trey and a daughter named Aria. They were not married, but she was his partner and the mother of his kids. In the weeks and months after the murder, she became the public face of the family's demand for justice. It didn't go the way she expected. Conspiracy theorists flooded the internet with claims that Mia J herself had something to do with Dolph's murder. She had to publicly defend herself against accusations from strangers who had never met her, never spoken to her, and had no evidence of anything. anything. The legal system wasn't much better. Justin Johnson and Cornelia Smith were identified as the shooters. Hernandez Govan, 43, was alleged to have ordered the hit, but the case moved slowly. When Judge Lee Coffey recused himself from the proceedings, prosecutors didn't even inform the family. Mia J. found out through the media. She also discovered that someone with the last name Johnson had attempted to trademark young Dolph's name just 1 month before the murder. She flagged it to law enforcement. They dismissed it.
Oh, no, they
Before
wanted
Dolph was
Dolph gone.
killed,
What the hell?
Mia J. had already launched a movement called Black Men Deserve to Grow Old. She started it in August 2021 after her brother, Jeremy Jardine, was shot and killed in May 2020 after working as a car salesman.
That movement, it started off as a campaign, honestly. I lost my brother in 2020 to gun violence. He was an honest working man, had a car dealership. One of his customers took his life.
3 months later, the father of her children was assassinated in a cookie shop. She turned the
Dolph.
brand into an engine. 25% of every sale from the BMD TGO streetwear line goes directly to a community fund for families impacted by violent crime. Before Dolph's death, the brand moved about 20 orders a day. After, that number jumped to 250 to 600 transactions daily. Her children, Trey and Arya, designed their own collections honoring their father. When asked about the pace of the prosecution, Mia J. said it plainly: patience is running thin.